welcome to my channel. This is Good Grief. My name is Deva, and I thank you for being here. I am excited to introduce my guest today, but before I do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to like this video, share it with those who you think it may help or you may need to hear the messages from today, because I'm excited about the topic and what we will be discussing. I welcome Chelcie S. Porter. She is an artist and curator whose life is as dynamic as her art. Embracing a nomadic lifestyle, Chelcie travels the world, drawing inspiration from diverse cultures and landscapes. She is the visionary behind an artist residency and community-based organization in Chelcie, Kenya, where creativity and community intersect. Her work, deeply rooted in these experiences, reflects a commitment to fostering artistic exchange and cultural dialogue across borders. I love that so much. Welcome, Chelcie. I'm so happy to have you here. And I'm excited. We talked a bit briefly about this, but let's tell the audience about this nomadic lifestyle that you have.
Thank you so much, Deva. It's very nice to meet you. First of all, I love your name. I'm sure you get that compliment all the time. And what a great name you have. And it's very nice to meet you. I have been traveling the world pretty consistently for, I think we're pushing on about 13 years now almost. I'm a very slow traveler and I have no particular goals. So I've only been to about 60 or so countries. Only a lot of people have gone a lot more places than I have, but I've been more interested in living around the world than necessarily visiting every place. So there's lots of places that I haven't been yet just because I didn't know what to do there or didn't have a goal, a project, or anything that I wanted to work on. And I've been saying that I'm feeling quiet the past couple of years and not really feeling pulled to go anywhere, but I feel like an itch is starting to come back now. I've had to take care of some health things the past couple of years. So I've been mostly spending most of my time in Kenya and back in the United States and my property there. And now I'm starting to feel like it's time to explore again. All of a sudden this year, the bug is coming. So I'm thinking about going to a few new places in the near future, but I'm very excited to be here and really excited to see what's going to happen, who's going to come through, and how our conversation is going to go today.
I'm excited too. Now I have a question about this nomadic life. And as you said, the pull. Is it just instinctual? This is where I have to go. This is what's next for me. Is it just something that comes to you? Or what is your process in finding that next place?
This is really interesting, and I'm glad that you asked because it's a spiritual conversation for me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I originally just really wanted to travel the world and to have experiences teaching art in different places. I feel very empowered by art and art therapy, and I really felt blessed to have all of the access to art and art therapy and art education, and started to realize how many youth in developing countries and nations don't have access to that same information and how much art can really change somebody's life, not only their mental health and their spiritual and emotional health, but also their financial health. If you live in a place where, being a dancer might be the best way that you can make money because there's no good jobs, then honing that skill becomes something totally different. So originally it was more of a creative endeavor, and then I started doing it and people started to become really interested in doing retreats with me. So it was a financial decision as well. Now it's much more, I've done a lot of research in my own ancestry recently. And let me just give a little background. Both of my parents have also traveled the world. Cool. So this has been something that I've been very supported by through my family. And I always tell people that it's a totally different story to do what I've done and live my lifestyle when you have support than if you are coming from a background where people are dissuading you, you're overcoming a lot of negative backlash from your family, you're being fed a lot of fear mongering from about the world from the people that are closest to you, and I did not have to overcome it. Those are my parents before they got married, individually had their travels. My grandparents traveled, and my great grandparents also traveled and had a different lifestyle. So I'm coming from a long generation of people that have traveled a lot to begin with. But recently discovering that I have some ancestry in places that I have spent a good chunk of time has made me to question if my ancestry has also been leading me back to these places. And I
Mhm.
just recently discovered after going to Kenya, I always wanted to live on the African continent. I always wanted to know what that was, the good, the bad, the ugly, and to not have to rely on media, not have to rely on a book or someone else's account of what it means to live on the continent and to live a full life there. And come to discover that I'm from the biggest nomadic tribe and I'm part Maasai. So it's very interesting to see. And I'm so glad that I did this DNA test to fill in these gaps much later in my journey because I discovered that I have ancestry in the Virgin Islands, which is a place that I lived for 7, 8 years, and also discovered that I have ancestry in Kenya. So it's very interesting to me that the places that I felt were home actually were home. And that's a feeling that you just go someplace and you have those initial trials and tribulations of getting adjusted and all of that surface level stuff. But I've come to say that when you're home, when there's a disaster or there's a trauma in that place, and instead of being like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not there, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I've gotta get home and see what's going on." That's
Yeah.
that you're
Yeah.
really in a place that you feel endeared to and that you feel like is in your heart, your soul. So,
Yeah.
been really interesting to see that some of the gaps of what I knew about my lineage was actually the places that I felt the most loved, the most community, the most safe, the most healing. So that's really cool to me.
I think that really ties into how whether people believe in this or not, it taps into past lives and it
Mhm.
taps into, like you said, ancestry. And I don't think it's coincidence that the places that you felt the most connection with energetically are the places that are also in your past or in your ancestral past. I think there's a real vibration for us in that. And as that example, I've been to London, England a couple times. And how I know I have a past life there is I just know where to go. I
Mhm.
don't know why, I don't know how, I just know. And it freaked me out just as much as it did my mom, who was with me on one of the trips. And I firmly believe that we feel connected to places and there's usually a reason. And I think doing something like the ancestry DNA test, I think it really validates more of what we intrinsically already know than it really does surprise us.
That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that I'm glad to hear you say that you just know where to go because I am always trying to encourage people that when you travel, just feel where you're supposed to go, feel where you're supposed to be because you're going to have these experiences that are just meant for you. You can't look up constantly what's the best restaurant and what's this thing to do and what's this thing to do because you're supposed to be there in that experience, wandering around, encountering the experiences that are meant for you. So I love hearing you say that. That's really wonderful.
And I think that's what's so important. If people have the opportunity to travel, yes, there are those intrinsic sort of surface level things we want to experience, but try to tap into the energy of the location of where you're at. See how it makes you feel. There's so much that we feel and we don't trust. Sometimes you'll hear people who've had a bad experience or who've been attacked. They're like, I knew I shouldn't have headed down that way. There's those intrinsic feelings, that
Yeah.
intuitiveness we all have. And so it's the same when we travel. How does it make you feel? Like when I went to Ireland, I just felt like I was home. My my history, part of my history is in Ireland. And when I lived in Italy, it also felt very comfortable to me very quickly. And
Mhm.
my ancestry is big part of it is in Italy,
Mm-hmm.
right? There are places that resonated with me. And I think also being spiritual and psychic medium, and I feel and read energy, to me, Italy was fascinating on that level
Yeah.
because I could go to the Colosseum and I swore I could hear the lions. I could hear all these things. And that's before the movie Gladiator, right? These are things I just knew intrinsically at 17. Um, so I think it's important to give ourselves those opportunities when we travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so much
Absolutely.
more than surface level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. I love it. And I love that we're talking ancestors because I think it's important for people to understand that have, we do receive guidance from our ancestors, and you have a very long line. I could see that initially when we first started talking. And I do this because to my left, when I see things to my left, that's in the past. And when I
Okay.
see things to my right, that's in the future.
Okay.
And this, I'm pointing towards your past, but that also is your ancestral line. And there's a pride amongst your ancestors that you are following their path. And in almost a literal sense, that nomadic lifestyle, there's a sense of pride that you're carrying the torch, that you are following the footprints that they left before you,
Yeah.
and done so in a way so that lineage continues. There's intrinsic value to that line that you have these experiences as well. And so when you said that you feel like you're being guided by them, you absolutely 100% are. And so there's two spirits that come through for you
Mm-hmm.
right away. And this was before we got to talking, and I had mentioned it before we hit record. And I'm going to start with the older woman who's coming through. She was right there immediately when I was connecting into your energy, and she felt it really important to step forward. I'm getting I'm getting that it's on your maternal side. Is your mom still with us?
Mm-hmm. Yep, my mom's still here.
Is her mom? Because
Yeah.
I'm getting that. Okay. She's showing me 3 levels, right? So there's your mom, which is why I asked, because she was
Mm-hmm.
showing me her. I didn't know if there was a connection in the spirit world with her. And then you,
Okay.
right? And she's saying that you are more like her than your mom was.
Okay.
That there's more of a connection between the two of you
Mm-hmm.
than there was between mother-daughter. So mother-granddaughter were more similar. Has your mom
Okay.
ever said things to you like, "You're so much like my mom," and not necessarily in good ways, like things that frustrate her that she knocked heads with her own mom?
Yeah, but my grandmother's still here, so it could be my great grandmother.
Your great-grandmother? Okay, and
Mhm.
maybe that's why she's showing me the lineage
Yeah, it could be my great grandmother
older.
who I have a relationship with and I grew up with.
Okay, and she's showing this kinship between the two of you that never existed, or that wasn't as strong of a bond as it was with her own daughter
Mhm.
and possibly even your mom.
Okay.
Uh, but there's a lot of people that say that you remind them of no, you remind yes, you remind them of her
Okay. Okay.
and can see a lot of her in you. And that's on purpose. She's manipulating, right? And that's
Okay.
decided.
Okay. Okay.
And that's her embedding herself in your life as one of your guides. So if anybody says that to you in future,
Mhm.
right, acknowledge, yeah, I know it's her.
Okay.
Right? She's bringing it out in me because she's so super proud and she's saying she still feels like she's in control that way.
Okay.
Like I'm getting a real sense of matriarch,
Mhm. Yes,
was
definitely.
absolute matriarch.
Yeah.
And she was respected and she was adamant that, mind your P's and Q's kind of thing is what I'm getting, which is a very old thing. But you respected your elders and you followed their instructions. There was
Mhm.
no no, there was no veering off that path that
Okay.
but there was an importance with that. I'm getting that there was like it's like a break in a chain or discord with who would have been her husband or her partner,
Hmm.
that it wasn't a solid connection. They were connected, but
Hmm.
it's like they didn't see eye to eye or
Yeah, they definitely had very different personalities.
okay.
Yeah,
There was some animosity almost in
yeah,
that.
yeah. They're always very annoyed with each other.
And she's brushing it off. I just did my own thing anyway.
Yeah.
She didn't let that
Oh,
hold her down. And in
okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay.
okay.
That's interesting. Yeah. I'm really obsessed with my grandmother who's still with us. And I always think about how I am like her and always have wanted to be like her, but I've never really thought about, am I like my great grandmother? So that's really interesting.
Yeah. I get that there's a great sense of pride about her that
Yeah.
wanted, she didn't care so much what people thought on a lot of things, but she wanted people to know she had good intentions and that she was a good person.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You don't have to like me, you don't have to agree with my views, but you do have to respect me because I've earned it. I get
Yeah.
that sense from
Yeah.
her. And that's what I mean by like when I say matriarch, to me, I think of like the queen, or I think,
Yeah. For our family, that's definitely who she was. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So no, she is with you and she is part of your spirit team. And she is proud that you are carrying on this family tradition, I guess, this
Yeah. Beautiful.
lifestyle. She's bringing up, and you mentioned this too, I think, that there was some health issues.
For me?
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yes.
She's bringing up the need for you to really take care of yourself and not when it's too late.
Okay.
She's be proactive, dear. Be
Yeah.
proactive, not
Okay.
reactive. And your spirit team is also putting hands up on that. That
Okay.
you need to start putting things in place for yourself and not just physically. This is like a whole holistic thing to look at what do you need, not just right now in this moment, but what is going to benefit you down the road
Yes.
and start putting those things in place. Does that make sense for you?
Yep. It does. It does.
She's saying that the health issues you were having,
Hmm.
there was a possibility of it being severe.
Hmm.
So that needs to be your wake up call.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there something in the family that is passed down that you have, like some sort of trinket or piece of jewelry or something that has been passed down from like woman to woman?
I feel like I have so many things. There's bowls, there's
In a
bedding,
box?
there's a box. Yeah.
Okay. So she's acknowledging that
Okay.
and the importance of that. And do you understand the importance of that?
I don't. No, I
As
don't.
she's holding it very close.
Okay.
Are there is there a possibility of any secret drawer or secret compartment in that box?
Honestly, I would have to ask my mother because I'm not 100% sure, but
Okay, check that out because she's holding it very closely, like she's protecting it,
mhm.
but there's something secretive about it.
Okay.
There's something in it or on it
Okay.
that you need to look into.
Okay.
Okay. The man that was coming through, he's getting impatient. Let's figure out who he is. I'm getting the sense that his impatience is something that was when he was in human form as well.
Okay.
He wasn't overly patient man.
Okay.
Is there a marking somewhere? I'm seeing initials in a tree, and that usually indicates that there was some sort of marker that tied you two together. So whether it's a literal marking, like something carved in somewhere, or something that you have that has your names linked together, that there's a tie that links you together.
I don't know. I need more information. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm thinking.
Okay. This is a love bond. There was some sort of love connection. Rings.
Okay.
Is this
Sounds.
yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Was he impatient? Was he
With me, yes.
okay. Okay. So the connection he's coming through and the reason I saw the initials is it's almost like when somebody gets a tattoo, meaning you're their person. And that he was adamant that the two of you were meant to be, even though he didn't show that wasn't his behavior. Does that make sense?
Wait. Okay. Yeah, it does make sense. Okay. I need more information. I'm sorry.
No. This is good. No, and this is why I can give you the information that I get. We can always go back for more, so we can
Okay.
decipher who this is.
Yeah.
But getting that it's a connection that
Mhm.
almost a soul connection. It doesn't mean that it's a healthy connection. Just means that there felt something was destined to be. There was this magnetic thing that brought you together.
Mhm.
May not have been for the best of reasons or may not have ended in the best way, whether there was like not being treated well or not being respected or you being the home base and this person going off to other people, but always coming back to you because
Okay.
you were a safe place. But
Okay.
it's almost like he took you for granted.
Okay.
Is that getting any clearer?
There's multiple people, so it's
Okay. Okay. Let
I'm
me,
trying
let
to
me get
figure
more
out
specific.
which person it is that's coming through because it's more than one person.
Is there Is one of them with a J name or a J sound?
Oh,
Because I'm seeing like a John or John. Okay, he's standing up tall and puffing out his chest.
okay.
And he's tall.
Okay.
He's quite tall. And the puffing out his chest was more showing bravado, not necessarily. There's almost a false bravado, but
Okay.
it really stemmed from insecurity. He's showing me that he's all kinds of messed up. Right? That there was so much confusion in his behavior, almost erratic or manic in some way. Like it was all about this and then switch focus. And then it was all about that.
Okay.
Almost like in no direction, but confident every time that switch happened, confident that was the thing that was going to work for him or that was the thing that was going to be it.
Interesting. There any like message for me or anything that they want me to know? I think that will help me to figure out which one is communicating.
He's saying, I did you wrong. I didn't do right by you. I'm getting the sense like he didn't take care of you the way he wanted to. He didn't do the things he didn't step up.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yeah.
There's regret in that. There's regret that he couldn't be that for you. There was a huge amount of humiliation for him and too much pride for that would allow him to admit it.
Mm. Okay. The person is not physically tall, but their persona,
Okay.
their
That's the auto, the chest
yeah,
out.
that is a personality. It's that they're physically not a big person, but mm, one of those people that you forget that they're short because everything else about them is really big and yeah. Mhm.
And that's the kind of sense I got when he showed me the erraticism is the like, boom, I'm all in. This is it. This is it. Oh, no, this is it. This is going to be it.
Yeah. It is
And
this is
it was
the
a lot.
energy they had shortly before they passed away.
Okay. He's saying he regrets that's what people remember because that's not who he really was. It's almost like he felt disconnected
Yeah.
from himself,
Mm.
not in control.
Yeah. Yes.
So the message for you now is that he's regained that control. He's gone back to true spirit form and he sees that life's path and realizing that his life journey may have impacted yours in a negative way. And so his message to you is that now his goal in spirit form is to make that up to you.
Mm. Well, I'm sorry. I know people must cry all the time with you.
Yeah, I'm used to it. It's good. It's good, right? It means we're connecting, and it means that there's a true sense because I'm speaking. I don't know him, so I'm speaking what I'm seeing and what he's giving me. And
Yeah.
if that's connecting, that's exactly what we want. But his main message is to know that his goal for his lifetime is to make it right by you.
Makes
And
no sense.
okay, well, he wants you to ask him for
Okay.
help, ask him for guidance
Okay.
because he wants to prove to you that he can be there for you.
Okay. Makes total sense.
Do you have any
Threatened him
questions?
that if he didn't come through to you,
What's that?
I said I threatened him that if he didn't come and talk to you today, he's going to be pissed.
Okay, so maybe that's why he was so impatient. He's not in big trouble. If you don't get to me, let's get on it, lady.
Yeah, this is my late husband coming through. He's a very short man, but huge in my life and huge in his personality and his love for me. And he was very disjointed before he passed away. And so, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The J, I don't understand quite yet, but
You have a
maybe,
nickname?
yeah, but nothing with a J. His name's Andres. So nothing with, can't think of a J just yet, but maybe it's something I haven't.
Yeah, write it down or make a note because
Yeah,
sometimes it will come to you later. It happens
yeah.
frequently where I'll get a
I
text
can't
message from somebody
understand
and
what it is.
what's that?
I said, maybe I just can't understand what it is right now.
It may come to you later and you'll go, oh, so just make a note of that.
Okay.
But he's very adamant about helping you now. That's his big message. And to use him, to ask him.
Okay.
Like it's almost like a trick. He's tell her to ask me and I'll show her. He wants to, he's there. So ask him for a sign. And I say that to everybody, ask for signs and be specific. They will oblige. It's open to how that message comes to you. But he's excited. Yeah, bring it on. Let me show you. Let me show you. So he's very adamant that he wants to make right by you.
Okay. Makes sense.
I love that you threatened him. He did show up, so he's listening. They always are. Do you have any other questions for Spirit?
I would just like to know any tips or any advice that they have on my next chapter and my future and anything that I should be doing moving forward.
I'm seeing a pen on paper.
Okay.
Have you thought about writing?
Yes.
Okay. That's
Okay.
what it's showing me. That's next for you. Yeah, that's next for you. They're very adamant about putting pen to paper. So they're saying there's lots of stories in you to tell. Time to let them out.
Okay.
And they're saying not even just personal, there's a lot of imaginative stories within you that you wanted to tap into. Maybe telling stories of the lives of other people you've encountered or other people you've heard of in your travels.
Okay.
Does that make sense for you?
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. Been contemplating? Okay.
Totally.
Awesome.
Okay. Beautiful.
I love it. Thank you to Spirit. Thank you for sharing your
Thank you so much, Deva. This has been really amazing.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Keep in touch because I want to hear about all your travels. I want to live
Absolutely. I'll
longer.
send you all my socials and everything. And
Yes,
you never know, I
absolutely.
might come to DR and check out your beaches. Absolutely. Keep in touch.
There's 5 of them right here, and one's across the street from me. So
I am a beach girl. I love it.
anytime. I know I love the ocean. Oh, it's amazing. Thank you so much. This has been such a pleasure. And I thank your spirits for coming through. And we'll keep in touch.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Goodbye.